What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and I came across this article today, and it was sent to me by Yellow Flash, so I gotta thank Yellow Flash for alerting me to this, and probably he sent it my way because he knew that it involves Disney possibly taking something out of the Star Wars expanded universe and bastardizing it and using it as their own, which, always will trigger me. So thank you, Flash, I appreciate you. But let's get into this article from Inverse. And the headline, Mandalorian Season 2 Theory May Reveal a Shocking Boba Fett Twist. Just because Boba is stuck in the Sarlacc pit doesn't mean he can't influence the Disney Plus show. And ever since Disney acquired Star Wars, we've been hearing rumors about a Boba Fett show, a Boba Fett series. A lot of people say that it seems like maybe The Mandalorian itself was originally intended to be a Boba Fett movie that has kind of got repurposed along the way. A lot of rumors out there. And this one does cover some rumors and some speculation, but it does make a little bit of sense, and I could also see Disney doing this. And the real problem is the person who's writing this article. When we get to the end, you'll see that the agenda that they have when they're writing about this. So let's get into it. Sorry, Boba Fett fans, but we're pretty sure everyone's favorite galactic bounty hunter isn't in The Mandalorian. However, that doesn't mean poor Boba can't influence the Disney Plus show when it returns this fall. One new theory delves into forgotten Star Wars lore, it's not forgotten, trust me, to explain how Boba's own daughter could turn out to be the biggest twist in Mandalorian Season 2. Speculative spoilers for Mandalorian Season 2 below. And yeah, there's a lot of speculation. It's pretty thin, but when you get into it, could make sense. Boba Fett's daughter, Aelin Vel, became famous in her own right as a ruthless bounty hunter. She hunted down her father, once tried to kill Han Solo, and considering she was born 15 years before the Battle of Yavin, she'd be an adult during The Mandalorian. Aelin appears in a series of again, these people trying to write about the Star Wars expanded universe that use the phrase extended universe. How hard is it? She appears, I'll correct it for this author. Aelin appears in a series of expanded universe comics and novels that were officially decanonized after Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012. But before you accuse us of digging into non-canon Star Wars for half-baked theories, be warned, we have a legitimate reason to believe Boba Fett's daughter could show up in The Mandalorian Season 2. It's often the toys that give away spoilers in popular franchises like Star Wars or Marvel, and this case is no different. When Funko Pop announced their new slate of Mandalorian figures, the company revealed one character we've never seen before, a green armor-clad Mandalorian with a color scheme eerily similar to Boba himself. And you can see this is that character right here. And, it was kind of strange when you look at all of these things. It's the only one that we have no idea who this is. Everyone else is a character we recognize from the TV show. However, this one's just called Pop Covert Mandalorian. You can see right there, it's obviously bigger. And I'll go ahead and I'll blow it up so you guys can see it on this overlay. Now, what it says here is, no, it's not Boba, who we're still certain is dead. Well, I don't know why you're quite certain, but okay. But it could still be Aelin Vel, assuming she exists in this version of Star Wars canon. At least that's what one fan theorized on Reddit, adding that this could also be the mysterious figure who inspected Fennec Shan's dead body back on Tatooine. And they do link to the Reddit post here. It's just obviously speculation. That's what this article is based off of. But the important part right here is this could be a way of including the Fett family and continuing his story without undoing a death a la Maul or Palpatine, wrote Redditor Miss Sarah77. I don't expect them to keep any details from his Legends daughter, though. And I would agree. If they were to bring back Aelin Vel as the daughter of Boba Fett, they would just take the name alone. They would just take the name alone that people would recognize and get rid of the rest of their story, because that's what Disney does when they bring the expanded universe characters back. Now, when you look at this character does have a cape. Could this be the character like was speculated, like we've been speculating since episode 5. The only interesting thing that happened in episode 5 was at the very end, where a character comes up and inspects Fennec Shan's body. Now, we speculated for a long time. I've made a couple videos about it, and people thought it was Boba Fett. And one reason is like I talked about here. So this is from The Mandalorian right here. Let's take a listen. There you go. So that's the thing that people are talking about. Now, as you can hear, he clearly has spurs. He does have a cape, so that's why people are saying it. Let's take a look just so you can get a good comparison. Let's listen here.
Join us. He's no good to me dead.
He will not be permanently damaged.
There it is. So you can clearly hear those spurs that they're talking about. Now, in addition to that, there's also the sound you hear in the background, which in the special editions is also a sound related to Boba Fett. So could it be them trying to throw us off, but also be related to Boba Fett? If this was Aelin Vel, his daughter, she does look to be wearing clothes similar to his. Even the weapon in her hand does look like an EE-3 blaster rifle, Boba Fett's weapon of choice. So when you start to think about things like that, yeah, it could make sense. It does look a little bit feminine. To be honest, it's tough to tell on a Pop Funko, but just saying. Okay, maybe Miss Sarah77 is right, and Lucasfilm will yank Aelin Vel out of the expanded universe, but ignore all the baggage that comes with her. Oh, this is a great line. Kind of like how The Rise of Skywalker stole its best plot points from Dark Empire. It did steal plots from Dark Empire, but The Rise of Skywalker was garbage. I don't know what best plot points you're talking about. But then again, maybe not. After all, Boba's daughter is a pretty cool character, which I agree. And they'll go, usually I would have to do this, but I'll just go ahead and do it from them since they've already done a little bio for me. Aelin Vel is the daughter of Boba Fett and bounty hunter Sintas Vel. However, Boba wasn't much of a presence in his daughter's life. She was born when he was 18 and he walked out on his family just 3 years later. As a result, Aelin grew to hate her father, but it wasn't until her 16th birthday that she fell into the family business and became hell-bent on revenge. On that day, Aelin's mother took a bounty specifically to buy her child a birthday present, but the job went south and Sintas Vel ended up frozen in carbonite for decades. They misspelled carbonite, but I'm sure you know that already, Inverse. Just a mistake. But and it's true, Sintas Vel did end up frozen in carbonite and actually recovered by Boba Fett and his granddaughter later on. And it's a pretty interesting story. And one of my favorite Boba Fett stories is in the Legacy of the Force series, where Boba Fett is coming to terms with all of his responsibilities as a leader, as a father, as a grandfather, as a husband, and it's all kind of coming back and wrapping up his life where he's really taking responsibility for his people as well, the Mandalorian people. It's interesting. Growing up as an orphan, Aelin was hell-bent on revenge. She eventually tracked down another clone of Jango Fett and mistakenly killed it, thinking it was her father. Later, she tracked down someone she thought was Boba, found a dead body she assumed was his, and stole the armor and his ship, Slave 4. And there were many versions of the slave ship, so not just Slave 1. This allowed Aelin to assume Boba Fett's identity, taking jobs from the Hutts and other criminals. Imagine, and this is where I'm talking about, where the author really starts projecting what he wants onto this. Imagine Aelin Vel showing up in The Mandalorian dressed as Boba Fett, only to remove her helmet. That would be pretty incredible. Oh, and that whole Han Solo thing? Aelin was hired by Han's no-good cousin Thraken Sal Solo. True, in the EU, thanks for not mislabeling it, Thraken dragged the galaxy into a second civil war and was eventually killed by Han, the female Mandalorian Murta Gev, who, spoiler alert, is also Boba Fett's granddaughter, and Boba Fett. The whole thing with Aelin Vel is very interesting too because, again, spoiler alert for Legacy of the Force, she ends up being effectively tortured to death by Jason Solo, Han Solo's son, and that has a big war brewing. Not a war, but a lot of resentment, obviously, between the Solo and the Fett clans for numerous reasons, that being one of them. Oh, and if you're wondering how Boba Fett is even alive after falling in the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi, the answer is simple. In the Star Wars expanded universe, God, this person is driving me crazy. He survived and turns up in Dark Empire. Yeah, and there's a lot of different books, if you want to take a look at how he actually survived, that you can take a look at too. Not just, oh, he shows up. Maybe that's one expanded universe detail the new Star Wars canon can leave behind. Here it is. We've had enough of Boba Fett. It's time his daughter got her chance to shine, and that chance is in The Mandalorian Season 2. Again, tons of speculation involved in this whole article, which is fine because it's fun to talk about things like this, but the whole thing, oh, we've had enough of Boba Fett. It's time for his daughter to shine. People would love that if someone that you thought was Boba Fett, this person who's been lauded in Star Wars history and Star Wars lore and is really beloved, to subvert your expectations by taking off her helmet and showing, oh, it's actually his daughter. So they would get to use the Fett name and everything like that to prop this character up, but actually have it be a female revealed. I could see them being very excited about that for Disney Plus. Do I think this is the case? Maybe. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. This is obviously all just speculation. She does have the color scheme. This Mandalorian, this Pop Funko does have the color scheme of Boba Fett, does appear to be holding a weapon that we associate very closely with Boba Fett. Not that he's the only one that can have an EE3 blaster rifle. But I can see where they're coming from and why they would have used the sounds related to Boba Fett like we played earlier to kind of make people think maybe that's who it was. But again, thanks to Flash for sending me this. I appreciate it. He got me worked up about them possibly bastardizing more of the expanded universe. Wish they just do their own thing and be completely original, but I think we know that Disney has problems with that. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I would not want this to happen. I just want them to come up with original characters. Stop bastardizing things from the expanded universe that you said you didn't want back in 2014. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.